Can you think of at least one active CSGO team from India? Probably not. Although India has almost 1.5 billion people living there, its development in esports has been quite slow. For example, there are less than 50 registered pro players on HLTV, and they haven't competed in a single game against top 30 teams in the past 5 years. But there was one point in time where this big country with such rich history had a chance to leave its mark on esports, when 3 big organizations joined forces to create an academy team in India. And so, how did it work out? Well, in a way, they accomplished what they set out to do, because their actions did indeed make a lot of noise in CSGO, but unfortunately it wasn't because of some stunning victories that we remember them, but instead for a big cheating scandal and the word.exe meme. Don't forget to leave a like and subscribe, because you're watching CYBERSHOKE, and today we'll tell you how one player single-handedly sabotaged esports in a country with 1.5 billion people. But before we get to Forsaken's story, we need to understand why his mistake was so fatal for Indian CSGO. So we have to start with a few boring but important stats, because a lot of you may think there's no way that a country so big doesn't have a single CSGO team. For instance, China's population is similar to India's, and we regularly see Chinese players on big tournaments. So how is this possible? Well, to be frank, India is an economically poor country, but it has such a gigantic population that it seems like there must be some people that play CSGO on a professional level, right? Sad to say, these stats show otherwise. In the last 12 months, there were only 3 professional players from India on HLTV. Maybe it's just that Indian people don't like video games? Again, that's a big NO. India's gaming market exceeded $1 billion in profit in 2019, outperforming Poland and Sweden. And India took 9th place in the rating of esports awareness and 3rd place in the rating of overall viewership of gaming streams. Just think about it. India is the number 3 country in the world by percentage of people who regularly watch gaming streams, but it's basically non-existent in regards to CSGO. The thing is that a gaming PC is quite a pricey thing for the average Indian. How many parents would buy their child a PC for 100k rupees while they're earning 30k a month? And how would they feel to see their kid playing on it for 8 hours a day? But a smartphone is another thing. It's way easier to buy a powerful phone, and Indian parents are more willing to make such purchases. As a result, Indian esports players are quite good in mobile disciplines, but again, they don't even show up on the radar in terms of CSGO. Some time ago, HLTV launched an Indian version of their website, and judging by how few comments it gets, almost no one uses it. Mobile gaming has dominated India's gaming scene so much that those kids who are fortunate enough to have a powerful PC end up just installing an Android emulator to play PUBG Mobile via Garena. There's a lot of interest in video games in India, that's for sure, and so a lot of people blame Forsaken for the fact that CSGO has never developed in his country. But did India even have that chance in the first place? Let's find out. This fact may surprise you, but there's one case when an Indian team played on a major, but it only actually happened thanks to some abnormal circumstances. One team got disbanded, and the TOs of the ESL 1 2014 had to find a replacement last minute. All the qualifiers had already ended, so ESL decided to try a little trick. They thought, well, if India has so many gamers, then why not help them get on the major to improve ESL's reputation in the region? So they then organized a 2-day qualifier with the help from Nodwin Gaming, and the winner was Team Wolf. Nodwin Gaming paid for their trip to Cologne, organized a boot camp for the guys, and assigned Kassad as a temporary coach. Of course, the Wolves took last place on the major, but they showed some good CS. For example, in a game against future champions NIP, they won a whole 7 rounds.
Tournament as soon as we're out of group stages, it is going to be best of 3s, but best of 1s to start things off here. Lovely work coming in from Ritz to take down 2 players for NIP. That's going to be Mythil as well, I do believe, if I'm not mistaken, getting the kill on to another NIP player. Fiflan's going to go down.
Team Wolf's performance on that major caused a big growth for CSGO in India. By the following year in 2015, the number of Indian CSGO teams on HLTV had doubled, and by 2016 it had grown almost 5-fold. At this point, there were some TOs starting to do big business in India. Like ESL launched a whole league with a $13,000 prize, Zowie dedicated a spot in a big Chinese LAN for an Indian team, and some local entrepreneurs made a whole gaming carnival with a $6,000 $6,000 prize for the CSGO tournament. But it was in 2018 when something very critical happened in regards to our story today. Three big organizations gathered together in order to create a project that would develop CSGO in India. Here's who they were: OpTic Gaming, a rich org from the States who was responsible for creating a team; AFK Gaming, who took the media coverage; and So Strong, who we'll dub an Indian Faceit, who made sure all the technical stuff was okay. All three orgs invested some big money in the project. They saw promising ventures in India, and they wanted to be pioneers in the country. So on May 1st, 2018, OpTic announced an open qualifier for the team. Anyone and everyone could apply. In a month's time, they picked 5 players and gave them everything they needed: full-time boot camp, a contract with a salary, and a coach from Germany. It's worth mentioning that the oldest players from that roster were still only 17. 2.5 months later, OpTic took first place in an Indian qualifier for a big tournament in China. Basically, they were proving that they were the best Indian team at that moment. Now, the only thing left to do was to go international. OpTic registered for another open qualifier. They easily won on the Indian stage and then moved on to the South Asian group. Beating Thai Team Beyond, OpTic went on to play Korean MVP. At this point in time, MVP was top 28 on HLTV. And you know what? OpTic gave them a very good fight. Everything was perfect. The team, as well as Indian CSGO in general, was growing. In the community's eyes, OpTic were pioneers who were forging a new path for other Indian gamers. But you surely know how this fairy tale ended, right? OpTic came to an important Chinese LAN with $40,000 for first place. There, the Indians were number 7 by HLTV ratings. Considering that there were 15 teams, they still had a good chance of winning some money. And then, out of the blue, the TOs put that game on technical pause. But only a few moments later, the ESL admin checked Forsaken's PC and lo and behold, found a Word.exe file containing cheats. This pivotal moment is what extinguished the flame for the Indian pro scene. OpTic had started a whole controversy now. Some people thought that they knew about Forsaken all along and were intentionally ignoring his use of cheats. And after all those accusations, they just left the country. For most casual CSGO players, now India wasn't a bustling new region for CSGO, but a laughingstock because of the Word.exe file that was found. This giant country had become a big joke and a meme. ESL tried to run their league for 2 more years, but eventually had to close it down. DreamHack made a tournament in Delhi, but that didn't gather much steam either. After Forsaken's stunt, big orgs were afraid of doing business in India because investing in a country that is so unstable is a big risk. And if earlier entrepreneurs followed OpTic's footsteps, now they saw how OpTic just got up and left. And so, with each consecutive year, the number of Indian players listed on HLTV significantly drops. Now in 2023, there's only one Indian pro player, Anish Singh, who plays for an Australian Tier 3 team. Thanks to OpTic's projects, India could gift CSGO a lot of talented guys, like Simple and Monasi. But unfortunately, now Indian players prefer Valorant in terms of FPS games. It's too bad because Forsaken's mistake hurt not only him, but actually left the whole country's CSGO scene forsaken. Don't forget to leave a like and subscribe, because you are watching CyberShoke. Bye for now.